The car market is headed to a weird place. Let's talk about that. Good morning, everybody. I'm Austin, the car guy, and in today's video, it's a little bit weird because I actually don't have a vehicle to show you today. I'm just talking to you about something that I think is interesting and going on inside the car market. I've got some notes, I've got some coffee. Let's get started. So as you guys all heard from the beginning of the video, I claimed the car market is headed to a weird place. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, the car market will never be the same. Post-COVID is a weird world because we will still haven't settled into the new standards. And what I mean by that is, well, the car market is still changing, still ever evolving, and there's a huge split inside of vehicles and in the market. So just as the wealth gap has increased, we've seen price gaps increase. And basically, it's left economy cars and everything else in the market. The good news is that there has been some exciting exceptions to this rule, i.e. the Ford Maverick and the new Hyundai Santa Fe, as well as many others. These vehicles are both economical vehicles that offer some cool factor like we haven't quite seen before, which is extraordinarily nice to see. These vehicles, like I said, they're cool and they're economical. During COVID with the TRX, the Raptor R, the normal Raptor, Explorer ST, Durango Hellcat. There's been so many crazy $100,000 SUVs and trucks, and the market adjustments and the way manufacturers were able to kind of not have any of their shit together really led to some interesting consequences. And because of that, like I said, there's been a huge divide. Manufacturers, first thing real quick before we get too far, the manufacturers now understand because of COVID that it used to be they built as many cars as they possibly could, and they left it on their dealers and corporate salespeople and all that stuff to get everything going. That was pretty much the metric, and it worked out because there was competition within the company. Basically, the people building the cars saying, how many can we build, trying to build more than the salespeople can sell, and the salespeople, of course, selling them, saying, haha, manufacturers, you can't build enough for us. And that was the relationship for 30, 40, 50, 100 years up until COVID. Well, COVID happened, and this was the first time in automotive history that there was a major shortage. Because of this major shortage, prices went through the roof. When prices went through the roof, people realized they can charge whatever they want for whatever they want until people don't buy it anymore. So instead of the adverse effect of let's put as many of this product out there as we can and sell it for as much as we can, now let's put just enough product out here to keep the demand going, but charge as much as we humanly possibly can for that product. And that is a dramatically different thing, like I said, that we haven't seen before, and it's really changed the mindset of the manufacturers. The good news is that it's left a major hole in the market, because while everybody else, Ford, CDJR, Chevy, are building these crazy $100,000 trucks, the normal guy, the average working Joe, there's 390 million people in America, 390 million people cannot afford a TRX. About maybe 100,000 people can afford a TRX. So that leaves a huge gap in the market that they previously served that they've kind of left open. Now, I will give some manufacturers some credit in this regard. For example, the 2023 F-150, there are droves of extras out there, and the droves that are left over are not the crazy high trim level ones. They are the XLs and the XLTs. I can tell you that because, well, I personally work at a Ford dealership, and I know what the inventory levels are. So there are some props out there to give. Hyundai, Kia, Toyota did a really good job building lower trim level vehicles throughout COVID. But I think if you look at the data and you were at the dealerships during COVID like I was, you will see that the mass majority of the inventory and vehicles being built were those high-end, super high packages where they can make a lot of money. And obviously the manufacturers made record profits during COVID because of this strategy. So they're kind of fat and happy at this point. They don't have a whole lot of worries going on. They haven't overflooded the market as far as inventory goes, so they're not concerned about not being able to sell future vehicles. But they are fat and happy in the fact that a whole lot of products got released, redesigned throughout COVID, which means most manufacturers are working with a fresh lineup, or at least a partially fresh lineup of vehicles to work with. And so because of that, there's, this fat and happy mentality. They just made all the money from COVID. They've got a freshly revamped lineup of vehicles to sell. Most manufacturers are not in a bad position post-COVID. Let's get into our next point. You heard me say from the beginning that the car market is weird, and it'll never be the same. Post-COVID is a weird world where the price gaps have separated just as much as the wealth gaps. And unfortunately, there's only a few exceptions to this rule, like the Ford Maverick and the new Hyundai Santa Cruz, and Santa Fe for that matter. Now, these vehicles are fun and exciting as well as economical, which is great. But Unfortunately, what's been going on with the rest of the car market is abysmal at best. You see, the background of me and this channel is really that when I was 7 years old, I was on my grandfather's computer playing with the Build and Price tool. I was reading his Motor Trend magazines. I was watching Top Gear with him. And so for me, I've been passionate about cars since a young age. And that naturally bled into me starting this YouTube channel in December of 2020. When I started this YouTube channel, I just wanted to do new car walkarounds, and that was it. But now I'm at a point where I really would like to experiment and explore other facets of the industry, as well as the coolness of it, because everything's cool. From new cars, used cars, old cars, off-road builds, drag race builds, rat rods, all of it's awesome. And so with this channel, my goal is just to explore that and enjoy that with you guys as well. And naturally, this channel did lead to me turning into a salesman and selling the cars, but I'm going to do everything in my power to continue to just be passionate about them and give you guys real world, honest reviews. And if you guys ever need a vehicle, of course, naturally, I still need to pay the bills. So, help me out. Buy a vehicle from me. My phone number's down in the description. You can call me, shoot me a text, whatever you guys need, and I'll help you out. Even if it's looking at a deal in your local town. I've sent vehicles all over the country before, and I'm not afraid to do it again. So if you guys want a vehicle and you want to help out the channel, make sure to, give us a shout down below. Going into the next section of the car market, where the car market is going. Well, option number one is real simple. Everything goes EV. I don't think politics and cars go directly together, but I do think cars and politics definitely relate in the fact that you get affected. When a new law passes, it affects the whole car market. For example, when EPA standards first came out, when they started taking lead out of gasoline, all those things changed the entire market for cars. And I think it'll continue to happen that way. So if we get a Democrat in office, I do think we'll probably see more of a push for EV than we've even had in the last few years. If we get a Democrat in office, it's going to push technology further, which is kind of a good thing because, manufacturers have a tendency to milk as much income out of a certain technology as they can. And I think that'll definitely continue to happen regardless of who gets voted in. But if we get a Democrat in office, we'll get those benefits, quote unquote. Of course, the economy won't be great because they're going to make it harder for manufacturers to continue to build them. And we know if they build less, they sell less. And if they sell less, we have less money in the economy being circulated. So if we get a Republican in office, I think we'll see more relaxing. We'll see more brands continue to build that old school pushrod V8 that a lot of us love. And probably still see some more advancements, but not nearly as quickly as we would see it the other way. Option number two is huge leaps in gas efficiency. I think this is probably likely no matter who gets voted in because, well, it needs to get better. With things like range extending technology, which if you're not familiar with a range extender, it's a gas motor powering an electric generator, which goes to a battery pack, which powers an electric motor that's connected to the tires, and that's what drives the vehicle. That's range extending, and I think that will continue to take on. The Ram Revolution is that. The BMW i8 Roadster is that. There's a lot of range extending vehicles, and I think we'll just continue to see more. Let's explore option number three. Option number three is things stay exactly the same. You see, the manufacturers have the American public in a situation where the demand is equal to the supply, and they're going to milk that as long as they possibly can, because what it means for them is that they're selling all of their inventory plus making all of the profit, not having discount or rebate or anything like that. So I definitely think option number three of everything staying the same and everything being exactly what it is going to continue to happen. But you see, there's been a hole in the market with the major split of manufacturers, some of them building high-end cars, some of them building cheap cars, is that there is a hole for cheap cars. If you're a manufacturer that's going to build a reliable, affordable car, this is definitely what's going to continue to happen, at least in my opinion. So naturally, the question is, who is the manufacturer going to be that undercuts the market and comes out with this amazing, cheap car? Well, I think we've already had a huge hint on who this manufacturer could be or what manufacturers could start doing it. And I think Hyundai Kia is prime target number one, definitely targeting that cheaper, affordable vehicle. I also see brands like Volkswagen doing this with the new Jetta, as well as their cheaper Teos. And then even Ford getting in the mix with the Maverick, and hopefully we'll be seeing something soon that's in a cheaper, even smaller SUV sort of thing. It'd be really nice to have maybe a refreshed Escape, like fully refreshed, fully redesigned. That would be really nice to see. But like I said, more excitingly, I think we should talk about the range extending, because I think that's what's going to be the huge advancements for better fuel economy, lower prices, all of those big benefits that we need to see in the car market. And also, whoever undercuts first, it's going to be a race to the bottom. So that means hopefully we'll see some really, really affordable vehicles that everything won't be 40, 50, 60, 70 grand like it was the last 2 or 3 years. Well, guys, with that being said, that is everything that I had to talk about with how crazy the car market has been. where it's going. What do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments. I'm definitely interested to hear from you guys. Are you guys excited about cheap cars? Are you excited about great fuel economy? Leave it down in the bottom. And if you're enjoying the channel, make sure to like on this video, subscribe to the channel. We are planning on ramping up production, bringing you guys more higher quality content just like this. So make sure that when you do subscribe that you hit the notifications bell so that you actually get notified, plus it'll show up in your feed. The research shows that if you hit the notifications bell, it actually shows up in your feed, whereas if you don't hit the notifications bell, you're telling YouTube you don't want to see it in your feed. So it's important that when you do subscribe to a channel that you actually want to see, like this one, you can hit the notifications bell. Well, guys, thanks for your support. We love you. Go check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever else you have. And if you're in the need of a car, make sure that you give me a call or text. Like I said, even if you're not from South Louisiana, I can send cars everywhere. And even if you just want me to look at your local deal that you're getting from your local dealership and let you know my thoughts on it, if they're missing any rebates, if the pricing is good, yada, 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 I'm more than happy to do all that for you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate you enjoying the channel. And I appreciate your subscriptions. Thank you, and have an amazing day.